Hello everyone and welcome to the MCC pre-show. I am your host Joey Capallo, and today we're going to be talking about MCC 14, the teams, the players, the predictions, and the hot takes. I'm joined by a lovely cast of Clay.
Hello lads.
Stein.
Hey everyone.
And Lucario.
Hello peoples.
So let's get right into it and introduce the 10 teams that will be competing 1 week from today. First up are the Red Rabbits, which are made up of Tubbo, Nikki, Vikkstar, and Tommy in it. This team is reliant on the dynamic between Vikkstar and Tommy, and will do well if their synergy is on point. As they are all members of the Dream SMP, they are likely to have great communication and be a very fun POV to watch.
Next up is the Orange Ocelots. This team, containing Quig, Shovel, Kara, and Aerith, is looking to be one of the best all-around teams in the event. With strong PvP from Quig and good team synergy, they will sure be a force to reckon with.
With Sylvie, Dan, SB, and Kratzy, the Yellow Yaks are bound to put on a show. With strong support from Dan and Sylvie, Kratzy and SB will likely succeed in PvP and movement-based games.
We also have the Lime Llamas, consisting of Rendog, Fruitberries, False Symmetry, and Cubfan. This team's strong games are going to be team-based and movement-based games, since Fruitberries is the only player that's really good at PvP out of this team. They're reminiscent of the Lime team from MCC 11, who got 4th place and were only hindered significantly because of Parkour Warrior, which may not even be in this tournament.
The Green Guardians have Captain Sparkles, Dream, George Not Found, and Quackity. Obviously, the Captain's Curse is still in effect, so it's just a matter of if this team can perform well enough to finally be the ones to break the curse.
Back from sleeping through MCC2, Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo are returning for vengeance. Joined by Captain Puffy and Tapple, this team's potential is unknown, but their previous success in Minecraft Monday suggests they can perform well under pressure.
The Aqua Axolotls is one of the most anticipated teams of this event, with Wisp, Scott, H-Bomb, and Solidarity. With his H-Factor, H-Bomb is expected to lead his teammates to Dodgeball and across the MCC finish line.
But let's not forget about the Blue Bats. With CPK, Puns, Catherine Elizabeth all being led by Satnap, this team is going to be all about potential, since all 4 of their players have the ability to really pop off.
The Purple Pandas have Grian in the Littlewood, Pizza Hut, and the Orion Sound. They're looking to have stand-up performances and see Pete retain his spot as a top 5 finisher in every MCC to date, and Grian hopefully proving once again that the Dream Slayer is still in form.
And finally, hailing from the Origins SMP, this iconic team of Wilbur, Fundy, and Filza, joined by the newcomer Jack Manifold, is sure to be a source of quality gameplay, especially in team games, as well as some absolutely hilarious content.
Obviously, all of these teams have different players with different weaknesses and strengths, so it'll be up to each individual team to find their own path to victory. And that'll be based on what aspects they need to do well in, and what things they need to avoid in order to win. So these are their keys to victory. The Red Rabbits are obviously a very strong team at their highest peak performance. It'll be a question of whether or not Tommy and Vic can lead their team to victory through having top 10 individual performances. So they will be the key to their team's success, as they hope to have PvP games where they can show off their skills, and then less movement games as they try to just stay afloat during those against the other teams.
Although the Orange Ocelots have a lot of veteran experience, they are statistically one of the weaker teams in this event. In order to succeed, Quig would need to act as a strong team leader, and strong performances must come from him and Shovel. Also, to make it to the Dodgeball arena, games such as Sands of Time or Build Mart would need to be picked.
For the Yellow Yaks, obviously Kratzy will have to have a strong performance, as he can hopefully solidify himself as a top tier player once again. As well, SB will need to show that practice can make perfect and put some of those skills to the test. Otherwise, the team is looking to just have good chemistry and have a variety of games that plays to their individual skills.
The Lime Llamas is a very promising team this MCC. Fruit and the Hermits is a successful team we have seen many times before. And although the team is relatively well-rounded, games like Build Mart and Rocket Sweep will help them succeed.
The key for the Green Guardians is all about confidence. It's about whether or not they can show up when it counts. Obviously, this team is good at both PvP and movement games because of Dream, so it'll be a matter of whether or not that George, Captain Sparkles, and Quacky can carry themselves to strong performances to secure Captain's win and break the curse.
The Cyan Creepers has the potential to be a very strong PvP team if rookies Bad and Skeppy perform up to par. With high team synergy and potential leadership from Tapple, this team will likely succeed in most PvP-based games.
Aqua is currently looking like a fan favorite, and currently is predicted to win by a lot of people. This is because their keys to victory is getting team-based games and performing well in them, and then also performing adequately in the other games. but with strong team game performances, nothing should keep them out of Dodgeball.
The Blue Bats is arguably the strongest team individually out of the entire event. With Sapnap as the likely team leader, this team will succeed in PvP and movement-based games.
The Purple Pandas are already being underestimated within the community, but on a team of Pete and Grian, they have a high pop-off potential. And they'll do that and get to Dodgeball through having games such as Build Mart and Rocket Spleef played last, and having the PvP games played early.
The Pink Parrots is very comparable to the previously seen Red Rabbits. In order to succeed, this team would need movement-based games to stay focused during the event, and Nuclear Jack would need to perform well.
So even with those keys to victory, it will still come down to individual performances, and so here are our predictions for which player will finish first overall. My pick is Dream. Dream's been practicing a lot on the practice server from what we can see from other people's streams. He's performed well in the past few MCCs, and he clearly very much wants to be the one to break the captain's curse. So I think this will finally be the MCC where he breaks the curse, and he does that by getting first overall individually.
My pick is Fruit Berries. Fruit has always been in top 2 since MCC 9. This consistency, combined with his extraordinary talent in PvP, movement, and his synergy with the Hermits, will propel him to his 3rd first place finish.
Personally, I think that Pizza Hut will place first individual during this MCC. Although he's currently suffering from an injury that might initially hinder his performance, he's a strong team behind him that will help him succeed in team-based games and gain him that top spot.
Okay, you guys clearly don't know what you're talking about, because I think there's a person here that you guys are all forgetting. I think Sapnap is going to be the one to get the top spot this MCC. He's gotten 3rd place 2 times in a row in the last 2 events, and he's really coming out of his shell of being more than just another member of the Dream Team. In the tournaments that he's gotten these 3rd place positions, only 1 PvP game has been played, and since PvP is Sapnap's strongest mode, if he gets games that are more tailored to his skill set, he could easily be the #1 player.
So you've heard our 4 opinions here. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to be the #1 player in this MCC, and we'll find out who was right a week from today.
There's so many players in this event that we all know and love, but let's not forget that we have 3 rookies coming to this event in MCC 14. We've waited for a long time, over a year in fact, but at last, Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo are finally coming to MCC. Back in MCC 2, they were going to join, but Skeppy slept through the event, and Bad Boy Halo didn't want to play without Skeppy. Finally, they get their chance at redemption. These two have the potential to do really well. They were teamed together in Minecraft Monday a lot, and they even got a couple wins out of it. This shows that they have good chemistry with each other, and since they both know Tapple and Captain Puffy, the team as a whole should synergize very well. There was also the time where Dream trained Skeppy at 1.9 plus PvP, so Skeppy may be a formidable force in games like BattleBox and survival games. As long as there aren't any more issues with sleep, these two should have a very bright future in the tournament.
Jack Manifold comes from the Dream SMP, where unfortunately he is not known for his PvP skills, outclassed by players like Technoblade and Dream. He is, however, very well connected with his teammates, and this combined with his time on the practice server gives him the potential for a very strong performance. Even though these players are new, due to the changes from Season 1 to Season 2, they are on a much more even playing field than they would have normally been, and it will be up to how well each player can adapt to these changes.
Thank you, Stein and Lucario, for telling us about the newcomers to this event. Aside from the #1 players and the new players, there's also plenty of others looking to have standout performances. These are our picks for the Dark Horse players, the ones we think who will have peak performances on the day of the event. So my pick for this Dark Horse player is a pick that most people would say already performs very well, and that would be Kratzy, someone who's been in the top 10 many times, but I think this will be the tournament where he takes it to the next level. He's been putting in tons of practice, both on stream and off stream, in PvP skills, movement skills, and also on the practice server and the games there. So I think this will be his moment to shine and show us that he has potential to be another S-tier player.
Personally, I choose Wisp as my dark horse. Although previously placing at around 20th and struggling with team-based games, when teamed with players like Scott and Ape, I suspect that his PvP skills will shine and gain him the spot in the top 10.
My Dark Horse player is Tubbo, who's overshadowed by his teammates Tamiina and Vicstar. He started off his first MCC phenomenally, and performed well individually in MCCs 12 and 13, teamed with Tamiina. Combine this with his excellent team chemistry with Vic and MiChu, Tubbo could absolutely earn a spot near the top this MCC.
My dark horse player is CPK. He's been on the brink of the top 10 for so long, and he came so close in MCC 12. This is the tournament that I feel he could finally break that barrier. He's been wanting to team with Sapnap and Puns for so long, and I think that those three plus Catherine will have great chemistry, which will help CPK to excel beyond his previous limits.
Now, outside of the players that are going to pop off, we also have to talk about which teams we actually think will make it to Dodgeball, and which will be the extra team to look out for. So these are our predictions for who makes it to Dodgeball, and who's that wildcard team that could surprise everyone.
My first prediction for who's going to make it to Dodgeball is definitely the Aqua Axolotls. I think this team is just way too overpowered to not make it to Dodgeball, especially since they have the H factor from H-Bomb. There's really very few ways that this team could lose unless they get very bad games near the end. I also think the Blue Bats are going to do pretty well. Sapnap, CPK, Catherine, and Puns all have a lot of potential, and this could be the MCC where they all completely exceed expectations. My prediction for second place is going to be Blue. Another team that I would keep my eye on is the Lime team. They have a lot of potential, as similar teams such as the MCC 9 Blue Bats, the MCC 11 Lime Liches, and the MCC 12 Lime Llamas have all done very well. I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck into a spot in Dodgebolt.
So Stein, I agree that the Lime Llamas are a team to watch out for, but I do not think they're going to sneak into Dodgeball. They're going to easily make their way to Dodgeball. As you said, they're similar in composition to teams that have made to Dodgeball before, and especially with these new game changes we're expecting, I think that team communication and synergy will be paramount to having a great performance. I think they'll be competing against the Green Guardians in Dodgeball though, as Captain Sparkles will finally break the curse thanks from strong performances from himself, George, Dream, and Quackity, and that will lead to a nice conclusion in the finale of Dodgeball for the end of our first MCC of Season 2. And for me, the other wildcard team to watch out for has to be the Pink Parrots. Not only have Philza and Fundy both made it to the top 10 a few times, but with strong performances from Wilbur and Jack Manifold, with their great team synergy, they could also find their way into Dodgeball.
Joey, do you have any idea what you're talking about? Clearly Purple is going to win first place individual. Between Pizza Hut, Green, and the Little Red and Orion, this team has it all. The team will excel in team games, but also can hold their own in PvP and movement. But who will they face off against in Dodgeball, you might ask? I think that team will be Aqua. As Stein said, I think this team will use similar games similar to the Blue-Black Cats of MCC 11 to slide their way into second. But with that said, there is one team that should not be overlooked. The Yellow Yak, comprising of Kratzy, SB, Dan, and Sylvie, could easily win the entire event and pop off. With Sylvie and Dan able to hold their own, Kratzy and SB could completely blow everybody away and claim that top spot.
I mostly agree with Stein. I absolutely see Aqua and Blue earning top 2 this MCC. H-Bomb and Scott are a phenomenal duo, followed up by great players like Solidarity and Wisp, which can easily give them a top 2. Blue Bats also has incredible potential, as Sapnap and Puns have always had incredible points and chemistry, added on to CPK's constantly performing well, and Catherine, who can certainly pop off with these players. My wildcard team is certainly up to chance, as it is the Cyan Creepers. I feel we are yet to see Tapple's full potential in MCC. Combine that with the incredible potential of former Minecraft Monday winners Bad and Skeppy, and the experience of Captain Puffy, this team could certainly earn a spot among the top this MCC.
So it looks like the desk is split on which two teams are going to get to Dodgeball. Stein and Lucario, you guys are going with Aqua and Blue, and me and Clay have a little more varied options. So Stein, why don't you believe in Lime and Green? Why do you think the Captain's Curse is still going to continue on?
I really just don't see Dream and George pulling it off. Like, Dream has been doing a bit worse in the last few MCCs, and George also hasn't had the kind of performance that I would hope from him. I don't see Quackity improving that much either. Like, he could improve. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't have any confidence in that team.
Lucario, Clay, you guys also believe the Captain's Curse is still going to continue through Season 2?
It's so iconic.
What would MCC be without the Captain's Curse?
And even looking at the numbers, like, Dream has teamed with the Captain before, twice, and the curse still continued. Like, we've tried this before. It's not gonna change anything.
They failed both times!
See, what I don't understand is how can you not think that Aqua's gonna make it to Dodgeball? That team is so OP.
I mean, for Aqua, it comes down to me, it's a good all-around team. But I don't think at this moment they're going to have that pop-up potential on the day that's going to carry them to Dodgeball. I think other teams, other individual players are going to show up to this moment and show up and shine brighter on that day.
You don't think H-Bomb or Scott or Solidarity or Wisp will show up individually?
They literally don't have a weak game. Like, is there any game that they would do bad at?
I do not think there are games they would do poorly at. I think there are games that they will stay in the mid-range at, and they will not have any pop-off game. There's also very strong teams that are also good at team-based games. So if they're not able to get an insurmountable lead in those team-based games because the other teams, then I think other teams' movement or PvP skills will help get them to the next level and put them above Aqua.
But this team still has very strong individual players.
Exactly. And the way I see it is that since they have so many games that they would be good at, any one of those games is a high potential for them to completely pop off. Like, they have so many opportunities to put on a spectacular performance, whereas some other teams will have only a few games where they're good at, and so they'll have less opportunities for that.
There will be some teams that have to make up for ground that they're in games that they're not as good in. Aqua doesn't have that. Their baseline for almost every game is good, and they can only go up from there.
So everyone, those are our picks for the top 2. And before you see who we picked to win in Dodgeball, let us know in the comments which 2 teams you think are going to get there and which team you think is going to come away victorious. So I'll start us off. As I said before, Lime and Green going to Dodgeball, but Green is going to break the captain's curse next week.
Well, unlike Joey, I have actual common sense, so I believe that Purple and Aqua will face off in the final battle, and H-Bomb will take the final shot and win the first MCC of the season.
Yeah, I completely agree with Clay here, although I don't think Purple's going to make it to Dodgeball. I think it's going to be Blue. I honestly think Blue's going to choke, and it's hard for me to see Aqua losing this MCC.
Well, I do agree with Stein and Clay that Aqua will make it to Dodgeball. I don't think they'll be able to beat the Blue Bats, as they just have so much potential to pop off in Dodgeball.
So those are our picks. Tune in a week today to find out what actually happens when they compete.